today I am joining in again with Ivy the Occultist Challenge 12 Days of Yule. Now today's prompt is all about a Yule craft or divination, and I have been itching to do something for a while, so I thought I would do it today. So I ordered in recently a packet of these. So these are screw top clear Christmas baubles or globes. They are advertised as Christmas baubles that you can put alcohol in because you can pour and drink them, and I just thought they were really fantastic. So I ordered a set of 6 of them, which come with different labels that say drink me. Now I don't intend to put alcohol in them. I am going to use these for glimmer globes. Now, what on earth is a glimmer globe, you might ask? Well, I first heard about glimmers on a tarot channel called Tarot Stash, which is Gerald's channel. I'll link it below. Gerald is one of my friends on YouTube. He's the most gorgeous, wonderful soul, and he does loads of lives, and he was talking with the equally lovely Jaime, whose channel is called Wandering Mountain Bardic Path. I'll link both of their channels below. Now, they had seen an article about glimmers. A glimmer is the opposite of a trigger, and having dealt with post-traumatic stress disorder recovery, oh boy, do I know all about triggers. A trigger is something that sends you back to a particular moment in time and regurgitates extreme emotions in the present that don't correlate with what you're actually going through in the present. So that's a trigger. So what is a glimmer? A glimmer is the opposite of a trigger. It's remembering something again from the past, either an experience or an emotion, some sort of reaction to something in the past. It's remembering it, but instead of being filled with panic or shutdown or dissociation or anger, it's something so wonderful that you're filled with glimmers, you're filled with joy, you're filled with happiness, you're filled with a sense of peace and safety, whatever it may be for you. So I think moving forward, because my word of the year has been story this year, and it's been all about changing the stories in my head rather than looking to my triggers now, which I've done so much work in, I think it's time to start looking at glimmers. Amy was collecting her glimmers in a globe. She said that if she put all of her gratitude thoughts into a globe, then this would become a magical tool in its own right to hold on to possibly shake, to get all that energetic wonderfulness from all of those wonderful moments of glimmering. So basically, this is a globe to fill with glimmers and moments of gratitude. So I think this is a beautiful way to develop a gratitude practice. I'm going to do 2 today because I'm going to do one with general glimmers in, so the things that are happening now or things that I might think of that I'm grateful for. But I also do want to do one for my doll, my biggest doll on my desk in front of me. Now, she is a representation of me at about 7 years old, the me that was desperate to be loved and being taught all the wrong ways to get love. My mother, before I went no contact with her, actually admitted to me, to my face, that she had intentionally got me addicted to food and made me overweight so that, and this is a quote, people wouldn't pay me any attention and that I would be hers then. And she suggested I do it to my own daughters to stop people from being interested in them, so you can keep them to yourselves. So anyway, great parenting advice. But there is that 7-year-old part of me that is still caught in repetitive cycles, trying to be loved, trying to be safe. And I'm going to use one of these glimmer globes for all the things I'm thankful for her for, because I think over the years I have shamed that part of me that overeats to be safe, the part of me that people pleases to be safe. I've shamed it as if it's something to detest and reject and try and get rid of, because it causes me to do behaviours I don't like. And fighting against it and railing against it has done no good at all. And I finally this year had the realisation that you're railing against the part of you that was desperately trying to be safe. You're railing against that sad, unloved 7-year-old. It's time to embrace her and tell her all the things that you're grateful for. So this is going to be for my doll, for all the things I'm grateful for her. Even if she has kept me overweight, I still want to love her. I want to tell her that she's loved. So this is shadow work, this is gratitude work, this is reparenting, this is soul retrieval work, this is how I work with my dolls, and this one is for my gratitude practice. So I thought I would do this on camera and show you the things that I bought to go in there. First of all, I'm just going to cleanse these with a bit of smoke. I'm going to set the intent for healing and peace and calm and new stories. This is what we want moving forward. I'm going to put some little mini pine cones in first of all. Now, pine cones for me represent an awake human. You're no longer behind the veil, not able to see truth. I was really so lost in blaming myself for so many years that my pine cone was closed. I'm going to choose some open pine cones here to represent enlightenment, the veil dropping. Now, the veil dropping in an abusive situation with a toxic family is incredibly painful. To be honest, I've spent the best part of the last 10 years recovering from it, but it's a pain and a journey that ultimately brings a massive amounts of healing. I think I'm going to put 3 in each. I think 3 is a lovely number of multiplication. 2 becomes 3. It's that numerology aspect of that which you see in the tarot. I've also got 3 kids, so that's a reason to stay awake. So I love pine cones. I think I might put some out on my desk. They're just so lovely. In the Celtic pantheon, they also represented fertility, so I think 3 is a good number as well to link in with that. So it's all about illumination and enlightenment. It also is said to represent the third eye, because it represents, the pine cone represents, if you believe it or not, the shape and the geometry of the pineal gland, which is said to be the third eye seat of the soul in the body. It's also for regeneration and protection, and if we're making new stories, we want to regenerate the story, and we also want to protect ourselves while we are doing that. The next thing I'm going to add in, I harvested some lavender last year. Of course, lavender is brilliant for healing. It's fantastic for peace and calm, and that's what we want moving forward in the new story. So we're going to sprinkle a bit of lavender in there. So next I am going to go with, let's go with some Yule herbs. I've got cinnamon here, I've got ground, and I've got cinnamon sticks. Now the cinnamon sticks are going to be too big. Let's just put a pinch of ground cinnamon in. Perfect for activation at Yule. It's definitely got that Christmassy smell, but also cinnamon is an absolute psychic, magical powerhouse. It really is. It's brilliant for protection. It encourages self-love. It's brilliant for self-confidence. And this healing journey for me now is about self-love, self-confidence. It's about loving the parts of me that all my life I've been told I should reject and rail against, and I think that's kept the cycle of harm going. I've railed against these parts of me that are probably the most wounded, vulnerable parts that need the most love, and I could actually cry just thinking about that. So let's put a spiritual powerhouse of cinnamon in there. Let's ask for love and protection and self-love and self-confidence. Okay, we need, look, I've got some star anise here. I'm not sure they're going to go in If not, I'll put some out to one side, because the star, I mean, the star card in tarot is healing, plus it's Yule. The star is really important at Yule. Is it going to go in? Oh, it does. I'm going to just put one star in. So for me, this represents what I think the star card represents. It represents that kind of healing energy. Is that one going to go in? Yeah, we have a star in a star anise. Is brilliant for healing, but it's a bringer in of truth, and it's again a protection, got a protective element, and psychic powers as well. Star anise is really good for psychic powers, and I'm very happy to bring some of that in as well. So what else have I got up here? I've got some juniper berries. Juniper berries, I think it's going to be really important for fear, because I think I've got stuck because I was so punished for doing anything for me as a kid. So I think there's a fear for stepping away from the destructive patterns that I was taught on purpose. So there's a lot of fear keeping me stuck that's completely subconscious. So juniper is great for stopping fear and encouraging you to know those dark parts of yourself. It will help me face the fears, and it will protect me on the journey. It's also linked to fire and Sagittarius, and I am a Sagittarian who this year had dragons speak to me, and I couldn't believe it. And then I had meditation revelations about needing to bring more fire in. My meditations said that I am from a generation of fire witches, but I prefer water. And doesn't that make sense? Oh my gosh, I'm just thinking, how much does that make sense? The fact that you want to put the fire out when it comes from a generational line that's done harm. But really, I need to be embracing my fire. I've also got some juniper twigs, so I'm going to put a little bit of the foliage in as well, because we need a double whammy of hey candy. This is going to be okay, you know, you've got this. So that is juniper. Oh, this is feeling so good. Okay, the next powerhouse we're using, again links to Yule brilliantly, is cloves. Fantastic for banishing evil and protection. It's a really good banisher. It's also good for getting rid of blockages and obstacles. I think my fear has been a blockage and an obstacle. Oh, it smells like Christmas. So my fear has been a blockage and an obstacle for being able to change stories. So let's put a healthy dose of cloves in there. Now I also have a jar of soil. This soil was collected in Hayden Hill, which is the place I used to go to and visit up until the age of 7. It was the park with me, with a haunted house there, and the ghost of the Blue Lady called me back this year. I went visiting and sat in the grounds where the Blue Lady appears, did a tarot reading, and then put my hand in the soil to collect some soil, and a coin came out with it. So this is my Hayden Hill soil, and because this is the ground that I walked on literally as a 7-year-old, I'm going to put it in both, because let's put memories of the past, because that affects me moving forward. Okay, so we have a pretty lovely base there to start putting our gratitudes in, or our glimmers. I love that. That feels really energetically charged. Now, as an art witch, I'm also going to do something that is really simple and easy for anybody to do. Now, as an art witch, over time, I've built up my own correspondences of symbols. Now, one of the key things, and I've literally done whole exhibitions on this, is the shape of the square. For me, the square represents protection. It came to me in visions and while sketching of like walls of bricks being built around me and the kids, and the square just kept appearing. So if you see me using squares in my artwork or in my magic, you know that that is a protective element. So this is just a cake tin that you can get from ready-made cakes in the shops. You know, like apple pies come in them, and when you cut it up, it looks like metal, but it's so thin you can work with it. You can even sew through it, so it has a really nice effect. So we have some protective squares in there as well, and I am also going to celebrate the fact that through it all, art has kept me going. I'm going to put some pencil shavings in to represent my creativity. I am incredibly grateful for my creativity. So you can see my gratitude has started to go in both for my child who liked drawing and my current self, because I'm grateful for my art studio. I'm grateful for my love of art. I'm grateful for the skills that I've developed in art. I don't need to write that down. The pencil shavings are symbolic of that. I also went into my craft supplies and found some wooden letters. These are types of things you can pick up in the cheap, like pound shops. And I wonder if I have a letter for each of my kiddies. So we have P for Poppy. I'm going to put that one in. A T for Tilly. Let's put that. This is my current glimmer globe that this is going in. And a B for Busby, and also for my dad, because my dad was Bill. So a B for Busby and a B for, let's put 2 B's in. There we go. So those are people that I'm grateful for. Also, to go with Yule, I grabbed a little bit of the strands from the tinsel, because I am grateful for how much I like the sparkles and the joy of the season, and that's always been with me. I've never been like a bar humbug. Right then, let's move these to one side, and I'm going to show you what other resources I've bought up. So I bought up a sort of bag of different shiny card, all different colours. And what I was saying about the square, it's the same with either textures or colours or different shape. If you collect, and you can do this by collecting, say, packaging, you can do it all for free. These are just cheap packs of different coloured cards that you can get really cheap in like pound shops. But if you developed your own colour language, say, so that red represented, say, love, and rainbow colours represented dreams, and gold represented prosperity, and white represented childhood loves, you can start to see how you get like an art language. So I've collected, like, over my time, a number of bits of paper. Look, there's Russian dolls. Now my Russian doll represents my dad. My dad was born with a hair lip and a cleft palate, and he said it taught him to never judge a book by its cover, because he was always so judged and people never saw his heart. And he said it's like a Russian doll, you know, it's what's inside that counts. And I just loved that. So I see Russian dolls and I think about my dad. I've got like vintage wrapping paper here that I've found in charity shops, or like an old birthday card envelope with hearts on. Any of these different pieces of paper can signify something. So you could either write a gratitude on the back, or simply not even write it down. You could simply just cut the paper and pop it in. So what I've done here, I've cut up a whole pot of those heart pieces of paper, and they're ready to go to grab to write on. I will be adding to this as well with other types of paper. So this is on the desk by my doll to grab and write a glimmer whenever I think of one. But now I'm going to write some things I'm grateful for, and I am going to roll them up and pop them in the glimmer globes. So another thing to think about here is the type of pen or pencil you're using, or the colour of the pen or the pencil. All of that can bring in associations for you. Oh my gosh, already guys, I can really feel how impactful this is as I'm writing things out, especially the ones for my doll. Oh my gosh. So we're going to start off with my glimmer ball, which is current for my gratitude now, and I'm going to just show you a few that I've done. So I've written on the back of this one, for the joy of making videos. I absolutely love making videos. It's part of my art practice. So I'm going to roll that up. Look, it can roll up really tiny, and I'm going to pop that one in. This one says, for houses in Stratford and roads that make me feel like I'm going into the past. So every day on my school run, I drive past Anne Hathaway's cottage, which was Shakespeare's cottage, and the road it's on, it just feels like a portal to the past. It's incredible. Every morning I comment on it. I just find it incredible. For the nighttime walk with Busby, we went on a nighttime walk to go and see Christmas lights in the drizzling rain, and it was so much fun, and it was lovely having one-to-one time with him. So in that goes. For the tree and the lights that twinkle, oh my gosh guys, the Christmas tree and the fairy lights, just my favourite thing about this time of year. However, I do have fairy lights up all year round because of it. Look, can you see them in there? And for my beautiful time on the school run, I'm having the nicest time on the school run at the minute. Even though I am spending over 3.5 hours a day in the car, we sing Taylor Swift songs, we laugh till we cry. I see all the beautiful sights of Stratford, and I'm loving it. So these are just some current glimmers, and already like the power I feel in this is just amazing. So just pop the lid on that one. Now for my doll, for reparenting my doll, the shadow work is I'm trying to think of all the things back then that my 7-year-old self tried so hard to do and either got no recognition for or got punished for. I'm trying to wrap that part of me up in love and to tell it all the things that it should have been told back then and wasn't. And I'm trying to reteach different lessons. So this is deep shadow work. So I've got 3 to read out to you. Of course there's going to be loads more go in the pot. I've put for you trying so hard to love. Your heart is beautiful, because I never gave up. It was only in recent years that I just gave up. I couldn't do it anymore. It was making me really ill. And the harder I tried, it felt like the more ammunition I was giving people to twist stories. So it just got pointless in the end. For the joy and love you poured into cleaning. Now, I was the person in the house that cleaned and cleaned and cleaned, and if there was any mess, oh my gosh, the days of nightmare that we would get if it wasn't clean. But of course nobody else would do it, so I used to spend like all long weekends just cleaning, running to the window to seeing if Mum's car headlights were coming up the country lane, just in a panic that it wouldn't all be cleaned. But I did it with no resentment, no bitterness. I only did it with love and excitement that it might make Mum happy. And I never ask my kids to help me these days because of that, because I just don't want them ever to feel like the cleaner in the house. So that's my Cinderella story, guys. Okay, and for the last one, for biting your tongue, but now you are allowed to speak. So the only person in my house who was allowed emotions was my mother, really. We were punished if we had emotions. So that's telling my 7-year-old self, I see it. I see all those things you did. You're wonderful because you did them. I see the intent behind all the things you did, how wonderful you are, but you don't need to do that anymore. You're safe, you can speak, you're allowed to express your emotions. It's all in there. It's like a little, I see you, don't be afraid anymore, I've got this now, and it's a reparenting. So guys, that's my craft for this Yule time, and I love it. I love that so much. The last thing I bought some little gold bells. You will see these in the shops at the moment. I think I only paid, I think it was £1.50 for these, and they're part of the Christmas decoration aisle. And if you buy witches bells online, they're a lot more expensive, so grab them now while they're in the shops. So of course the idea of witches bells is it's for protection. So I thought, how lovely just to tie round the jar, say 2 or 3 witches bells, So that's them done, guys. What I did, I used just some wire. This is, or you could use thread if you wanted to, but this is florist wire that I've got in my art supplies. So I made a slightly bigger handle as well out of the wire for my one doll's hand, because I don't think the little circle will go over her hand. The other one, I think the circle will go over the hand, this sort of circle at the top. So let's just now give them to the dolls, and that's it. That's a glimmer globe. Oh guys, are you ready for this? I've literally just cried giving my dolls these. Oh my gosh, this has been so impactful. Jaime and Gerald, thank you so much for this idea. This isn't my idea, guys. This idea came about with Jaime and Gerald discussing this together on a live, which I will link. But this is my one and only Blythe doll, who's got a candy top on. This doll represents me in the present moment. So she's got the gratitude glimmer globe, and then over in this corner, this tallest doll is a representation of me as a younger girl. And oh my gosh, to hand her that globe full of the well dones hit a part of me that just reduced me to tears immediately. And that's shadow work with dolls right there. That's soul retrieval. This is the little girl in me that went into hiding and stuffs down emotions and is scared to speak and that isn't confident because she knows that everything she does isn't good enough. This is her being told, no, actually you are good enough, and I've got you now. The adult in the room has got you. This is reparenting, this is shadow work, this is gratitude, this is healing, this is magical healing. And we all need some of that at some point in our lives. So this is a beautiful sort of Yule inspired way of doing it. So guys, thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this, go and say hi to Gerald and Jaime, and enjoy your glimmer globes, enjoy your gratitude. Get a glimmer globe set up somewhere for the new year. Let's move forward into the new year with glimmers and not triggers. Thanks guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.